Am I wrong for hating that my ex is living with my parents? Part 1. At the start of this year, I, 29 female, was stalked and harassed by a woman who believed that I was having an affair with her husband. It was over a month of daily harassment over phone, on social media, and at times even in public. She even threw a stone through my window and vandalized my car in my driveway. Thanks to security cameras, she was caught, and charges were filed against her. The situation was intense and terrifying. I had to spend a significant amount on lawyers, threatening legal action against both the husband and wife to get them to back off. She was clearly having a mental breakdown and eventually ended up in a psychiatric hold. With the help of her medication, she finally accepted that I wasn't involved in their drama. As part of our legal agreement, she publicly apologized on social media, clearing my name and providing some financial compensation for the damages she caused. Through all this chaos, my fiancé, 32M, was utterly useless. We lived together, but whenever I was accosted in public, he would just leave, as if my suffering was too embarrassing for him to deal with. When our condo was attacked, he fled to a friend's place, leaving me to fend for myself. Despite knowing I was innocent, he didn't stop his friends and family from believing the worst about me. They made snide comments, and he just stood there, doing nothing to defend me. I begged him for support, but he acted like there was nothing he could do, as if my fear and sense of danger were insignificant. When the woman finally made her public apology posts, I forwarded them everywhere, making sure everyone knew how I was caught up in someone else's mess. I also called my fiancé out for his cowardice, which was my way of publicly breaking up with him. My parents were supportive throughout the ordeal, even helping with the lawyer's retainer. However, they didn't approve of the way I ended things with my ex. They thought my public breakup was petty and asked me to be kinder and not end the relationship. I eventually removed his name from my posts, but I had no interest in being with him anymore. Even after the situation calmed down, I was left traumatized and paranoid. I quit my job and couldn't bear living with my ex any longer. My best friend, who lived a few states away, invited me to stay with her for a change of scenery. It was exactly what I needed. During my visit, I found a great job and decided to settle in this new town where I've been living ever since. I recently booked tickets to visit my family for Christmas, but last night, my mother dropped a bombshell. My ex is staying with them as a house guest. My mother explained that he hadn't been doing well since I left, and they had taken him in. I was stunned. The man who abandoned me when I needed him most was now being taken care of by my parents. I don't want to see him, and I'm deeply hurt that my parents are choosing to support him over me. Would I be wrong if I told my parents I'm not coming home as long as he's staying there? Part 2. Update. I didn't go home for Christmas. When I called my parents to tell them, it set off a firestorm of accusations and guilt trips. My mom was upset, accusing me of being cold-hearted, while my dad reprimanded me for breaking mom's heart. It became clear that my mom is trying to reconcile me with my ex. My dad, as usual, just goes along with whatever she wants. When I asked them why they would want me to be with someone who didn't protect me, my mom came out with the most ridiculous excuse. She said that if the stalker had been a man, my ex would have protected me, but since it was just a woman from a good home, there wasn't any real danger. This was news to me, because when it was all happening, they were just as worried about my safety as I was. But now, they're downplaying the whole ordeal, parroting my ex's excuses. Then my mom started talking about how embarrassing the whole situation was for my ex, and said that I wronged him by putting him in that position. This opened up a floodgate of old wounds. My mom has always been disappointed in me, and this situation seemed to confirm all her fears. She's always been slim, svelte, and very particular about appearances. I, on the other hand, take after my dad's side of the family, curvy with a full figure, which has always been a cause for concern for my mom. She pressured me to cover up, to downplay my figure. She wanted me to go into teaching or medicine, but I didn't have the grades for that. Instead, I built a successful career in sales, which I excel at. But to my mother, my job in sales, coupled with my appearance, was scandalous. The man whose affair caused all this trouble worked in the same company as I did, just in a different department. I believe he let me take the fall to protect his job and avoid a bigger scandal. My mom, of course, thinks it was inevitable that I'd be blamed because I have the look. To her, this whole mess was proof that her fears about my appearance and career were justified. She's horrified that instead of learning from my mistakes, I've now taken a job as a client relationship manager at a financial firm. In her eyes, this only adds to the scandal. She feels pressured to force me to come home, get married, and leave my career behind. I'm heartbroken by how all of this has turned out. Not only did my relationship end, but now I'm losing my parents too. Meanwhile, that cheating man and his psycho wife are still together, and he still has his job. It's all so unfair.